And yo, the Sports Bag Bros podcast is back on. And it's Monday, coming off of another weekend. 2 days a week, you get a chance to listen to the Sports Bag Bros podcast, Mondays and Thursdays. Today being Monday, let's get into some sports talk. A lot going on. What's good?
What's happening, man? We got the Final Four.
Yeah.
Yankees using illegal bats.
There you go.
I'm
There you go, man. I knew you was going to hit it. Come on, man.
I think the MLB is going to say, you know what? Let's just distribute these kind of bats, these torpedo bats, I think they're calling them, to every team across the league. You use them or you don't use them, but we're not going to make it illegal. I mean, who doesn't want to see 9 home runs in one game?
That's what they wanted all along when they started making these bandbox ballparks and hitting all these home runs out of it.
They lowered the mound. They do all these things to help the hitters. Why not give them a souped-up bat?
Yo, but the bottom line is the MLB has agreed that this bat could be used during the season. And what was somebody from MIT designed the bat, and it's not only the Yankees that are using it, it just happens to be it's the Yankees that used it and did it well. And out of those 15 home runs, which ties a record, by the way, 15 home runs in a 3-game series against the Brewers, well, the Yankees just happen to have big bats in that lineup, now bigger bats, I guess, with this torpedo, but all of the players didn't use them. All of the players don't use them. Aaron Judge doesn't use them, and he had 4 home runs.
Oh, see, I didn't know that. I didn't take the time to really dig into it. I just heard Yankees hit nine home runs, and they got these new bats. And, the narrative was the Yankees were the only team using them.
Of course it is. You know how that goes.
But then a few days later, other teams were using them, but not quite having the success the Yankees were having.
Well, the Yankees have.
That's why I just threw that little jab at you. I mean, I know it's not.
I knew that was coming, but I knew it. I was like, I know he's gonna come with something, regardless whether legit or not. Just hit it. But you know what? When the Yankees are the ones doing it, just like if something different was happening with the Dallas Cowboys, it's that kind of a team that people just love to hate. And if it looks like they have some kind of advantage, they're gonna come after them. With the Yankees, those bats are making the rounds, but they have them in the MLB, and the entire team is not using. Now, when Austin Wells led off the season with the home run against the Brewers, something fishy going on. He now has 2 home runs.
Wasn't it
13? Austin Wells.
Wasn't it 3 home runs on 3 pitches or 4 home runs in the first inning or like something crazy?
Yeah, it was just rain. It was just raining. But now you take a deeper dive, because I know when I look at that, I know that the fire is going to come because it's the Yankees. Aaron Judge, you don't give him a pass, but, you give him a pass because he's been doing it for years. He's not even using the bat. And then taking a deeper dive, you look at the Brewers and look at the pitchers they did it against. Nasty, the artist formerly known as Nasty Nestor Cortez, who's now just Nestor Cortez. The Yankees got rid of him for that same reason. He gave up too many home runs. And so now, he gave up 5 home runs. Not too different what he's been doing. I think he's thrown like 23 home runs, gave up 23 home runs last year. So he's given up a whole lot of home runs. And then Aaron Savelli, had the 4th most home runs giving up last season. So they beat up on his ass. And then, by the way, those other 2 who got ragdolled, those were rookies in their major league debut. So when you put it in a little bit of perspective, they just got rained on because you had a bunch of bad pitchers out there, some young kids who may be better later on in their career, maybe not. But Nasty Nestor, the reason why you're in Milwaukee is because you gave up all of those home runs with the Yankees. So that's not unusual to see that happening. But Aaron Savelli, 29 home runs in last season? Somewhere around there, 29 home runs last season, the 4th most in the major leagues. Yeah, it's par for the course when it comes to that. Now, let's see how everyone else does and how the Yankees do now. I think they're going to play the Diamondbacks coming to Yankee Stadium. Does that keep up? And Paul Goldschmidt and Austin Wells, as I mentioned. Jazz Chisholm, he has the bat. I don't know if Austin does. I don't know if Paul Goldschmidt did. I want to call Paul Goldschmidt years ago when he was just a stud in the back of the room in Arizona. But now he's here, so I guess I get the later version. I'll take it.
As a White Sox fan, I can say that about 15 to 20 guys they've signed over the years who had 1 foot in the clubhouse. But the Yankees are the evil empire. If anything is going down, it's gonna be portrayed negatively.
Yes.
But let's look at the White Sox. They won 9-0 today. What kind of bets are they using?
And check this out though. They pulled your man with a no. He had a no going into the sixth inning.
Yeah. Well,
they got rid of him, and
it was a major league debut, man. They didn't want to. He never been 9 before. I can understand. Yep. It's not the first time it's been done to young starters early in the season. I'm sure he probably didn't get all that many innings in the spring training. He's got to build up his arm. So
I say that about veterans.
I mean, if it's 9-zip, I mean, yeah, if it's end of May, June, all right, kid, go out there. Let's see what you can do. But I mean, 4th game of the season, no need to ruin them, man.
4th game of the season, his first start, you don't need to ruin him. I've seen that even with veteran pitchers when they're mean mugging the manager, hoping he doesn't come out. He's like, yo, bro, I'm looking at the future of the team right now. This is the beginning of the season. We're going to probably need you, especially if he's an ace kind of pitcher. Like Garrett Cole may be that kind of a guy when he was healthy. You're like, you know what, you're looking good right now. Nice. You got us in a nice spot. We got the bats that can hold it down. If you're doing it in June, we'll let you run. But right now, anything can happen, especially as hard as pitchers are throwing right now, especially young pitchers who look like they're still trying to prove something, always throwing hard. That's why they ended with Tommy John surgery.
Yeah, speaking of, White Sox have 5 pitchers who need Tommy John. They were all projected to be on the roster this year.
Tommy John seems like a rite of passage these days. That's what it is. Before it was an anomaly. You're like, damn, I don't want any Tommy John surgery. I don't think you look for Tommy John surgery, but if it happens, you're not depressed about your career being over like it was years ago. Some pitchers come back even better. In fact, statistically, it looks like they become better. I don't know if they tighten up that joint, give you a little bit more control, throw a little harder, or whatever it is. Tommy John surgery is not a curse anymore. I mean, you don't want it, but it's not a curse anymore.
Yeah, I think most pitchers probably have some sort of damage.
Yeah.
And when they get the surgery done, it's all cleaned up, so they come back better and stronger.
Yeah, and I remember with the pitchers in high school, they're throwers. They don't really know how to pitch. They're throwers. They're just overwhelming younger kids. And then when they get to the minors and realize that they got to do a little bit more, and now they're being taught to do more, and they're getting their arm strength up, and they're getting that man strength, or heading into the man strength, unless you're a phenom like Dwight Gooden was years ago, or even Dontrell Willis had the funky windup like Louis Tiant, and you're hoping that they don't burn their arms. I think he did though. I think Dontrell Willis did burn his arm out, but yeah, I don't think they're holding the kids back, preventing them from doing something like that, and they wait until it happens and they just deal with it when it happens. I was thinking about Brian Taylor a little while ago, that phenom from the Yankees years ago, got into a bar fight, hurt his shoulder, was never the same. But I remember they had him and I think Jeremy Roenick. No, not Jeremy Roenick, somebody else. I can't remember. Eric Lindros on the front page as the young gun for the future in sports. And then he gets into that incident. He was looking good in the beginning, got into the incident, got into that injury, got that injury into this fight, never the same again. ERA is like 11 or somewhere like that, man, in the minors, let alone. And it was never the same. But yeah, this Tommy John surgery, nothing to be fearful about anymore. It's like Gale Sayers, blown out his knee, ended his career. You blow out your knee today, you get 2,000 yards next season like freaking AD.
Yeah, that's true. And let's hope Juju's able to come back.
Oh, that too. You know what? Yeah, and that sucked. And you talked about it last week of when Juju ran down the court and it was completely innocuous, nothing, everything routine about it, right, but a catastrophic ending for it. Damn, it reminded me of Marcus Dupree, just running, boom, knee just goes out. No one hits you, just your knee goes out because you can't. Too big for your body, too fat for yourself, and things just go awry with no one even touching you. Blows it out. But let's get back to this March Madness, the Final Four. I think it's still going to come down to Florida and Duke, but Houston, surprise, surprise, beating the living daylights out of Tennessee.
Yeah, no kidding. After they had that scare with Purdue, I don't know if you saw the game, but it was tied with 2 points something left. Houston had the ball underneath the hoop, and they ran the play. It caught Purdue with their pants down. the inbounder kicked it in, and they gave it right back to him for an almost uncontested layup. I'm like, how do you not guard the inbounder, man? Come on. But, credit Houston. They noticed something in Purdue's defense where they knew how they would respond to certain cuts, and they knew that play would be open. So they won that game by 2, and Tennessee looked really strong in the prior game. So, conventional wisdom says, oh, Houston struggled with Purdue. Tennessee looks good. Tennessee probably wins, but that's not the case.
I don't think there's any real surprise anymore about the dominance of conferences. The ACC had its place, and we know about the history of the ACC. But now with all of this realignment, we're talking Big Ten, SEC, things we never really thought about. And I think we talked about it on this show more than once. Alabama and Auburn 1-2 in basketball. What the hell is this going on? If there's going to be any noise really made with the SEC and the number one team, it's typically going to be Kentucky leading the way. Now, Auburn, Florida every now and then come in with a better team. This year looks like the best they've had since the year they went back-to-back. But the Big Ten expanded, the SEC expanded, and these are the teams. Back just last year, if you had UCLA, Washington, or Oregon winning in the tournament, that was a Pac-12 win. Now, they're Big Ten wins. And in the beginning, the Big Ten went 12-0 before they finally lost their first game in the tournament, and that was Wisconsin. And I think Illinois followed. But now the real power conference is the Big Ten, which always played great basketball anyway. But the SEC? Come on. Arkansas? I know a Calipari effect, but Arkansas? Come on.
But it looks like the SEC is the power conference now. They got 2 in the Final Four.
If they do. But you know what? I still I'm pretty contentious about the way Auburn got in there. Losing 3 of the last 4 games, getting not only the number 1 seed, but the number 1 overall seed. Whoever stumbled into a postseason like that? I never seen that before or heard of it. But you know what? They seem to be justifying it. But you're supposed to justify it because the number 1 overall seed is supposed to have the best cakewalk to the championship. It's supposed to be a reward for playing such a good season. So you got a soft schedule because you're the number 1 overall seed. So you're kind of doing what you should have been doing. But I think Duke and Florida, I think Florida's already a favorite against Auburn, which they should be. They're used to their style of play. And they have even the history when they just weren't that great Auburn. But Bruce Pearl, give the guy credit. Damn good coach. Some people don't like him. I've liked him since Wisconsin, Green Bay, even at Tennessee, and here now Auburn. I just like the guy, but I think Florida just has too much firepower.
Duke and Florida have looked the best to me.
Yeah, no doubt.
Throughout the tournament. I would love to see that matchup because Cooper Flagg's a dog, and Walter Clayton Jr. is a dog.
Oh man!
I mean, not this last game, but the game prior, he wasn't playing very well. But we're down 2. Here, take this 3. We're up 1 now. Oh, you got the lead back here. Let me bust another 3. We got the lead back. That dude is a dog.
Damn, you gotta. Hey, I think you have to have and Florida's put together well. I know if Scott was on it, he'll come here and tell you all about it. This dude, of course,
I had to hear about it a couple times already.
Yeah, I bet, and he's really on it now. I mean, this guy just won't stop. And I've known him for a long time.
If we did top 10 college players of all time, he'd probably switch out number 10 for Walter Clayton Jr.
He probably would do something like that, man. I still tell him to put in Joakim Noah, man, the way he played in college, the way his dominant, his records, I think, still stands now for block shots in a championship game. But as a college player, I mean, he didn't do too poorly as a pro player, but as a college player, if you want to separate that, damn, that's a hell of like Big Dog Robinson, a hell of a college player, just a solid pro player. Elton Brand, very good college player, very good pro player, just didn't get the credit. I don't know why.
Elton Brand, we had him in Chicago, and they weren't happy with him. They shipped him off to NBA Siberia, the Clippers.
The Clippers, but that's where he played well and got nice, consistent numbers. It was almost like a Kevin Love situation to where he just went somewhere where he put up ridiculous numbers, but the team didn't win. Kevin Love was just a double-double machine, and he played some defense. They just didn't win. So he was like, oh, look at the numbers at the end of the night. Kevin Love coming out of college, first of all, was a phenom. Coming out of high school, he was a phenom. So I wasn't surprised that he played like he did at UCLA and then played the way he played in the NBA with Minnesota at least. And until later on, people was like, well, he's not that good. The reason why he's good because he's a big fish in a small pond. And it kind of played out a little bit like that. But he did have some things to do in Cleveland when they won the championship.
Hey, but speaking of the Bulls, did you catch Josh Giddey's game winner?
No, I heard about it, but I hadn't caught it. Bro,
they were down, I think it was 5 with 12 to go. They hit a 3. LeBron threw a bad pass. They hit another 3 to take the lead. I think there was 5 seconds left. LA calls timeout. Austin Reeves goes to the cup. And I was so pissed. I'm like, you came all the way back and then you can't even play defense. I'm like yelling at the TV. You can't even cut him off. And as I'm complaining, yelling at the TV, Josh Giddey lets it fly from half court. And I was like, oh shit. I had to jump on my side. I jumped out my seat. He splashed it from half court right in LeBron's mug.
Damn, bro.
Yeah, it was LeBron. He didn't cover Patrick Williams in the corner. He hit the 3. LeBron threw the turnover trying to inbounds the ball. Then Kobe White hits the 3. Then Josh Giddey busted it in his face from half court. It was beautiful.
I bet as long as LeBron's on the other end. Josh Giddey, I've liked Josh Giddey. And I think the only reason why he's not with OKC is because of the off-the-court nonsense that happened a couple of years ago, which turned out not to necessarily be true, with that little case that was going on. And so, hey, he moved on. He's still going to be the player he's going to be regardless of which team he's on because I think he is that good. And he looks like he's a nice piece for some team out there for the long term.
It's crazy. Bulls have been playing better ever since they traded LaVine. And people were dogging LaVine, not questioning his effort. I don't know what he's been up to in Sacramento, but the Bulls have been playing much better.
Damn. And Sacramento been playing a whole lot freaking worse from last season. Dumpster fire, man. Yo, how about that Indiana game the other day? The freaking blowout of all blowouts. I mean, what kind of blowouts are we having now? Teams winning about 50 and 60 points in the NBA.
I don't know. I don't think I saw the score. Who'd they play?
The reason why I even know about it, because I was going to do a little live action. Get a little live action in. And I saw that 272.5 over under. I was like, get the hell, that's going under. Man, that joke was like 271. Bro, I was sweating it out. Man. I thought it was just going to be a little, it is up there right now and it's going to fall back down. Man, those dudes was on it, but I think Indiana was the one scoring all those ridiculous points. They just kept on scoring and scoring and scoring. The NBA, though, as a whole, we've seen so many ridiculous blowouts that you don't see on a regular basis. And this is happening more regularly now when teams winning by 30, 40, 50, and sometimes even up 60, nearly 70 points in a game. These are NBA players. These are supposed to be the best of the best. The 15th player on every bench is supposed to be better than almost anybody who plays on the planet. And it's not true.
It's 1, 2, 3 Cancun season, bud.
Apparently, holy crap. Man, that's the NBA now. Is it more exciting? Are they going to make any changes to make it? They're making changes to the All-Star game. Yeah, but no one watches, right? But I guess that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to bring people in. But yeah,
I don't see how they could fix it.
Go back to what it used to be.
Yeah, but the players still don't care. That's why they started tinkering with it. Nobody was watching because the players don't care. At least when we were growing up, there would be, a little bit of showmanship, a little Harlem Globetrotters in the first half, maybe early in the third quarter.
Yeah.
But midway through the third quarter, those guys got serious. They wanted to win.
That's exactly what I've said. They got serious. They tried to win the game.
It's not like that anymore. I don't know if you remember, Kobe was guarding LeBron. He's like, come on, let's go. Me and you. And LeBron passed the ball. I'm like, why you pass the ball? Like,
he didn't want to go up against him again.
The All-Star game. Let's give the people what they want to see. LeBron didn't want that smoke.
Yeah, I don't know. I hear a bunch of people, even young people now, saying that, I heard a young kid today say that LeBron was the GOAT. And I'm like, all right, man, young kid, they look like they side with LeBron. You never even seen Jordan. You just heard about him. So that's why you're saying it. You're just going by what's hot now. And this is what you want to see on the internet. So that's all of your freaking feed coming through is LeBron. I don't really like to make the comparison too often of who's the GOAT, who isn't, because I think worst case scenario, best and worst case scenario, I don't think either player is extraordinarily better than the other. If MJ is better than LBJ, he's better than LBJ by probably a bit. And if some people pick LBJ better than MJ, it's just by a bit.
I can't basketball. They don't know basketball.
I can't stand these people who say that.
They don't know basketball.
What?
If they pick LBJ, they do not know basketball.
Well, you got a lot of the young dudes saying that. And, you're getting more of these commentators, I guess, being in the era, they'll talk about LBJ. And,
But I mean, look at LeBron. He got in Stephen A's face because he didn't like what he was saying.
Yeah.
But he loves what Nick Wright is saying, so he's over on the sideline giving him hugs and taking
Nick Wright,
pictures
bro.
with
That
family.
loves he loves him.
Come on. So, I mean, I know. I don't want to get political. I'm not gonna say it. Never mind.
but Brian, I'm just saying. And by the way, Stephen A said, if you'd have touched me on a swung on him.
Yeah.
But after seeing that mid work,
but he also said he knows he would have gotten dealt with.
Oh yeah,
he would have took his swing.
He would have took. I still got to see that part, man. I heard people say don't take swings,
and then that video with him showing those bogus uppercuts,
bro. Exactly.
It looks like he doesn't look. He said he had torn rotator cuff. That's why he wasn't throwing punches correctly. I don't know. I'm just telling you what he said.
Yeah, the torn rotator cuff when he played high school or college ball.
Because you know how he watches boxing. He loves boxing.
Oh, he loves boxing.
So my thing, I believe him because if you take a video of yourself hitting the pads and you look like an absolute scrub, I'd be like, yo, delete that.
Yeah, right.
Delete
like
that
Snoop
shit.
Dogg was hitting them joints.
Snoop Dogg, that's not going to see the light of day. Delete that shit.
Snoop Dogg looked worse than freaking Stephen A when he hit the dead mitts. What the hell, this guy's talking all this gangster shit? You better not go to jail. You gonna be on that top bunk, boy. The hell. But yeah, man, but Stephen A, I mean, you got to save face, but you know what? What kind of look is that later on to say that now? Man, if he'd have done this, I'd have done that. Bro,
it's just funny.
The night after.
It's funny to me because the day after LeBron confronted him, I told you I was disappointed.
Yeah, he's like apologizing.
Yeah, he was all quiet and reserved. I wasn't talking about Bronny. I was talking about you, blah, blah. And days later, now he got his energy back. I'm like, yo, that's the energy I wanted to see the following day. When people keep that same energy. I told you.
Now he won't be going to games
could stand on Bronny's stats or lack thereof. His 0.3 points per game, his 0.3 rebounds per game. Stand on that. That's all he had to do. But no, he was. I don't know if he was. I can't even say he was trying to take the high road. I don't know. I thought he got punked.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking, bro. You got punked. You're known as the angry person on television, not even the angry black guy, the angry person who tells it like it is. And it doesn't like you back down from anyone. You're going to the political
that's exactly
arena.
what it looked like.
Yeah, you go into the political arena where it's probably not your expertise and you try to hold your own. You sure that you know something. You stay in the sports realm. Basketball is your thing, but you mess around with boxing. So you talk like you really know what you're talking about there. So you don't back down from a fight. But this fight here, man.
All these old videos are popping out. Him on the pads, him shooting air balls.
But you know what? What was that year? Years ago, when he was in the All-Star game, they had during the All-Star game weekend, they had the celebrities playing. I think Ice Cube played. Nelly, I think, was playing. Nelly's nasty, man.
I don't remember.
I was surprised with that. But Stephen A was out there also running the floor. Nelly, bro, seriously?
Inflection point.
Yeah, that's that hoodlum. The hoodlum Scott. Inflection point in the house. Yeah, he wanted to talk about some Gator ball, of course. Yeah, we know who it is. Got to remind us, Homer. But if it comes down to them, Florida's a favorite going into this game against Auburn. Hell, if I got put money down, I'm taking Florida. If Florida's playing Duke, I'm not. Come on, Houston might be the freaking upset here. They have enough to upset. All number one seeds. So I would guess everything went chalk. Not exactly, but we all ended up in the same spot.
Yeah.
First time, second time, period.
Yeah,
And so
first time in a long time, though.
Yeah, first time in a long time. And go back to NIL and, go back to the transfer portal, man. I've always wanted these cats to get their money whenever they can get their money. But, man, I didn't want it to become the morass it's now looking like. But you know what? This is what the NCAA had made this happen. After having so much control all of these years, even going back to when Brian Bosworth couldn't play and he had the NCAA, the communist versus the athletes deal going on. The NCAA has always had that power. And, then the players would talk about how coaches would come in and they can leave whenever they want. They should be able to do the same. And now they're getting that chance and they're all over the place. Players who have egos, players without egos, and they're still transferring because they believe they're better than what they are. We see it more in football, but now in basketball, certainly getting its light. These players going from place to place.
Yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be bad for the game. I mean, if we have number one seeds every year in March Madness, it's no longer going to be March Madness. It's going to be the NCAA tournament.
That's it. But what I'm thinking also, and I think I mentioned it last week, the rules for NIL are changing. I think teams are getting salary caps for their entire sports department or for major teams of their sports department. I think it's $20.5 million. So that means a school like Georgia, for instance, or Florida, they have a big football team. They have a basketball team. Their baseball team is phenomenal. The track team is phenomenal. That money's going to have to be spread all over all of those if you want to continue to hold that heritage that you have for having an excellent track team like Florida does, kind of like Arkansas with their track team as well. But then you go to those schools like St. John's, like Georgetown, teams that have a Division III football program that doesn't get scholarships and it's not about NIL. You can bring that $20.5 million bag to the basketball players. And those cats in New York, the ones in Baltimore, the ones, all these other places, D.C., and that whole Northeast area, they're going to go after the bag. If you could give a dude $3 million, that's more than he's going to get as a rookie. If he decided to not go to the NBA and just went overseas, he's getting $2 or $3 million to play college ball in his first year. These teams may become powerhouses again. These two teams, well, not just those two, but I think they could lead the way just because of the structure. Connecticut's been playing better football of late. I don't know how long that's going to last, but now, if they want to have an even better football program because now they see something could happen, maybe they have to spend some of that money on those football players. They got to spend on the female basketball team, and they got to spend on the male basketball team. So there's more money to spread around. There's more teams to spread the money around. But Georgetown and St. John's, I look at them in particular. Those teams could just put it almost all in football and basketball and become the old power they used to be back in the day with Chris Mullin and Patrick Ewing, the old Garner Second and John Thompson days.
Yeah, those were the glory days for the Big East.
Oh man, what are they? God, Villanova. I mean, they were all popping. Seton Hall, man, it was crazy. Seton Hall this year.
But I mean, it could be some mid majors could do the same thing. Maybe a team like Creighton or Xavier or.
But do they have $20.5 million?
I don't know, but I'm saying they could allot maybe 80%, maybe not 80, 70% of their NIL money towards the basketball program.
Yeah, they can do
other
that.
Schools, especially like Big Ten schools, we have all these other programs you have to fund.
But I think it comes down to the collectives because that's what they're calling them, the collectives. The organizations that raise the money, they're called collectives. So I guess that's where the $20.5 million is coming from. It's not a university putting $20.5 million to the side just for the athletic department. Is I guess what the collectives could raise, and that limit will be $20.5 million and spread among the teams that they could spread it among to keep their program where they want it. And so you're going to really have to pick. But it's going to be easy, I believe, for the teams that are prominent because players want to go there anyway. So you know what? You don't have to give him $3 million. You could give him $500,000, but he's playing for his dream team, and still be able to do that until he can either transfer when things don't work out or continue to stay there or bounce to the NBA.
Yeah, he'll stay there until he gets a $2 million offer from another school.
Man, look at Ashton Genty. He was talking about all the SEC teams that were coming after him while he was on the roster. And I was just talking about Scottie Pippen's son going into the transfer portal during the freaking tournament. And what you was on the bench and some dudes behind you like, yo, bro, you're not playing right now. You want to come over to our school during the game? Probably tell him that. Yeah, that sounds about right, man. I want to play right now. I need my shine. And now you're gone. I mean, is it going down like that? I mean, I know these players are going to get paid, basketball players in particular, because there's fewer of those than there are college football players. But, like Dylan Harper, for instance, I don't even know what he had gotten. I don't think he really needed the money big because he's Ron Harper's son. He's looked at as the second player overall. He's expected to go number 2 overall. He just went into the NBA draft today and announced it at least. And so he's expected to be the second player taken after Cooper Flagg. Dylan Harper, Ron Harper's son, 5 championships. His mom, Filipina, played freaking basketball too at the University of New Orleans. And I mean, he's 6'6". He has a nasty game. I think he scored like 34 points against Washington this season. But, you keep an eye on him and you see how he goes about playing. But you wonder if his game complete, because I know he was talking about, thanks for the memories. Boy, you played 1 season. I'll take these life lessons, ups and downs. What are you talking about? You played 1 season with freaking Rutgers, and they were 15-17. I mean, even with a potential number 2 pick overall, you're 15-17.
I haven't seen him play, but he has good genes.
Oh, absolutely.
Ron Harper was a monster before the knee injury.
And his mom plays some basketball, so he has that. Cole, what's his name? Cole, what's his name from Orlando? Cole Anthony, Greg Anthony's son. Same thing. That kind of now his mom didn't play basketball, but at least Greg Anthony, when he was playing, was looked at as a nice point guard. As a college player,
Anthony was decent, man.
No, I mean, as a college player, he was pretty damn good. In the NBA.
I'm just saying he wasn't a monster like Ron Harper.
Oh, no. I'm not comparing him like that. I'm just saying guys who can nurture their kids because they know how the process goes and they kind of know what needs to get done and how to do it to at least give their kid the best opportunity possible. Cole Anthony was the number 1 player in a lot of people's mind coming out of high school. Definitely the number 1 point guard coming out. And and hell, his game, I think his first game with North Carolina, he was just.
Hey, who's that coach? Is he South Carolina's coach? The no nonsense guy?
Yeah, Frank Martin.
Like the crew cut, huh?
Frank Martin. Is that Frank Martin, the coach for South Carolina and Kansas State?
I think so. I saw a video of him saying when he goes to watch his sons play, he doesn't holler, he doesn't yell at the refs, he doesn't yell at the coach. And then when his kids ask him, hey, Dad, what do you think about this? He's like, I'm not your coach, I'm your dad. Why don't you go ask your coach? I think that's bullshit. I agree with the first part. Don't yell at the refs, don't yell at the coach. But if your kid comes to you for advice, you're like, and you're a fucking college basketball coach, you're not going to help your kid? You're going to send him to some Joe Schmo? Because that's his current coach?
Where the hell have I been? Frank Martin left, and Lamont Paris is now the head coach in South Carolina basketball.
You know what I'm talking about, though. I don't know where he is. Maybe he's no longer coaching. I don't know.
Yeah, but Frank Morris, he was with Kansas State, and he was a no nonsense guy. Some people claim he was hard to work with, but I know for sure with the kids that are playing today, he's hard to work with. He's going to be definitely difficult to work with because these kids don't want real coaching. And as soon as you raise your voice, forget about it. They're gone. And that's just that's not changing. I don't think it's changing. Nothing goes back. Once you take that, you open it, to me, it's a Pandora's box. It's not even a genie bottle. It's a freaking Pandora's box. As soon as you open it, everything goes bad. And that's what's been going on. RJ Lewis for St. John's Player of the Year. We talked about that. 3 for 17. Sat down because he was 3 for 17. And I don't think it would have made any difference. Just like John Starks didn't make any damn difference for the Knicks. Shooting all those damn threes didn't change any damn thing. So he gets mad, apparently, doesn't want to come back to St. John's. So he talks about either the transfer portal or going to the NBA. And so I guess he's in limbo with that right now. Well, I saw a lot of St. John's fans were like, you know what, let him go. I don't know if it's just bitterness or they're just tired of the generation of players we have now that if we don't get our way, we're taking our ball and going home. And if we don't have the ball, we're just going home or another home.
Well, I can't say I blame him. I don't agree with Pitino sitting him down. You can't go down with bullets in the chamber. Your best
he was
player
shooting blanks.
The whole team was. The whole team sucked.
And he's the leader of that team.
You should have played the second team. You know what? All you guys suck. You all sit down. Second team, get in there. You don't take your best player off the court and have him sit by you while the other guys are throwing up bricks.
because his bricks built the house. These dudes just built.
He wasn't the only one though. That's what.
I know. They built the backyard. He built the freaking house. That's what they did.
If his teammates were keeping him in the game, and then every time they needed bucket, like, damn, you just keep missing every time. No, they all were missing. But they all were missing. When he left the game, they were down 2. They ended up losing by like 8 or 9.
I go back to the John Starks nonsense, the debacle, just kept shooting. He was our sharpshooter, the Knicks, and just kept shooting. Nothing got better. Same result. Even if 3 of those would have fallen in, it might have helped the momentum of the game. He just kept shooting. Left him in there.
Well,
when that was in the chamber, still blinks.
They tie it, right?
Huh?
If he makes the 1, they tie it.
I think, yeah. He went for 0 for 11? He was 0 for 11?
I can't remember if the final shot was to win it or to tie. But I don't know who. So you're gonna have Anthony take the shot instead? He couldn't shoot.
Oh no, I'm not.
Who's gonna shoot that shot?
The point is that you left those guys. You left him in there, and it was the same
but who's
result.
Gonna shoot the shot?
Who I don't. You know what? Going by what was happening, anybody.
If you don't give it to Starks,
shoot the freaking 3.
If you don't give it to Starks on that team, who shoots the shot when you need a 3? Who shoots the 3?
I have no freaking idea. I mean, no one's going to.
That's why he left. That's why he left.
It wasn't. That's what I'm saying. They left him in there, and it did not change the result.
Patino should have done the same thing.
So Patino had this guy who's 3 for 17, and in the worst game ever, the team is trying to wake him up.
At least he hit 3 shots. Starks didn't hit any.
No, those are 3-point shots that he was making. He missed 11 3-point shots. This dude was missing 3-pointers, and he hit 3 just regular field goals, and that's about it. It was just a damn. But I'm just looking at, overall, it comes down to the attitudes of the players we have now. When things don't go your way, you go from the toast of the town to the clown that's leaving. And this is what's going on there. The circus is leaving town. He's going along with it. And it's not just him. That's the way it is now in college basketball. That's why you have the transfer portal going crazy. It's always been about the football, because I've always thought it would be basketball first, because there were fewer players and probably more money to get for those fewer players. But it's been football all this time. This is the first time I heard as much about basketball and the transfer portal and now NIL than I've heard ever.
Yeah, that's true.
And it's really percolating now.
And you mentioned it already, Pippen. His team was still alive in the tournament when he entered the portal.
Like, I got other plans, man. And I just don't know how your mindset is, though. When Lewis was sitting on the bench, was he thinking, when things weren't going his way, was he thinking, I'm out of here next year, man? Because that's reasonable to believe. I thought that went through his mind. I'm out of here next year. I can't believe he's doing this to me.
I don't think that was going through his mind during the game. He probably was waiting to get put back in. But after the game, the questions started coming, and he's probably like, man, F this. Well, why was I sitting down? I'm the Big East player of the year.
Man, I can't. Well, I already know how. I know exactly how I am. I've always just took coaching. When coaches said things, I just did things. If coaches didn't say things, I didn't do things. If they took you out or whatever it was, I remember one time in high school, we got all the way down to the goal line, and the coach was like, "Yo, call somebody else to push the ball in," and I threw my hand like that. And I got to the sideline, he yelled at me about it, and I was like, "Damn!" And ever since then, you know what? If coach says it, I'll just rock with it. I hate it. I wish I would have been the one to try to get into the end zone, but no.
But if you had NIL and you got a better opportunity,
better NIL, that'd have been cool.
You have considered it?
Consider the opportunity. I don't know. I've always been a loyalist. Anybody who knows me, I've done some serious things in the past to where I can honestly say that even if it was a lot of money in the line, I've said no before. And now a lot of money, like millions of dollars, no.
I don't get it either. That. I mean, there's some players who've been to 3 schools in 3 years. I'm like, man, I don't know if I would want to do that. Like, go through adjusting again and learning campus life and just getting used to it. You know what? I'm gonna switch again. Next summer I'm going, or next spring, next fall I'll be going to this school. Like 3 different campuses in 3 years. That seems
that's
like
what I'm talking about.
That's crazy to me,
man. And I never thought I would feel that way about college sports.
Scott wants to get in.
Uh-oh. You should have came earlier when we were talking Gators. But I don't know, what I was thinking with college football. or college sports period, football in particular, when it came to the transfer portal. And I thought it would be make your transfer, that'll be it. I didn't think that 2 and 3 schools and then do stay for like 9 years, getting a doctorate in football. Those kind of players, 8 and 9 years, dudes getting doctorates. I mean, I never thought that thing would be. I didn't think it would be a thing. But now you saw like that DJ from Clemson bouncing around, just going from Oregon State, Florida State, just bouncing around and not getting any better. And he's not the only one. And now in basketball, it seems like it's much more fluid in basketball because it's not that as much about attrition like the football field is. So dudes can bounce from place to place. It's logical. Now, if the NCAA wants to put a limit on it and say, oh boy, he wounded. But if the NCAA wants to put a limit on how much you can do, that's a different story. Let me see.
What's up, Scott?
What's up, guys?
What's going on?
I thought you were talking about college basketball.
And we were talking about college basketball. You're the one sitting in the win.
Who do you think's going to win? That was going to be revealed.
Unfortunately, I think Duke's going to win.
Trav, what do you think?
Yeah, I'm thinking Duke. I told you that. I think it's Duke. I mean, I don't know what the hell to say because I don't like Duke, and you already know about the Gators. But shoot.
I'm just curious if you want to redo your top 10 list and put Walter Clayton Jr.
Yeah, right.
Well, at least we're talking college ball now. I'll say this. Obviously, my heart's with the Gators, but if I had to put money on it, I would just push. Because, I mean, I think Duke is that good. And Florida,
they beat the hell out of Alabama by 20, man. I jumped in on that and got that 14.5 on the live, and they jumped 20, man. I like, damn. And Bama, as much as I tease about Bama and Auburn being powerhouses in football or basketball, at least this season, bro, Alabama was pretty damn good, and they just walked through.
They beat Auburn, as did three of their 4 last teams.
Well, I was saying, come on now, beating Auburn isn't exactly a prize, and Auburn's where they are now because the number 1 overall seed gets that cakewalk, or at least the best cakewalk to the championship.
Well, the other thing is Janai Broome. I mean, that guy was pretty volatile during the year, and I got to say this about UF: they've been pretty volatile throughout. Even in the tournament, they had a tough time with UConn. They haven't dominated as much as they did during the regular season and as they did during the SEC tournament. I mean, they didn't dominate Alabama, but they beat them pretty convincingly, and they beat Tennessee. But I think, when you see, like, I think we may have had a similar experience. I watched Cooper Flagg at the beginning of the year, and it was like, to me, watching Victor Wembanyama's first game. I was like, hey, he's not that special. Same thing with Cooper. But then as the years gone along, Duke has just consistently got better. And it's not just Cooper Flagg. But, I mean, I heard some comparisons. I was thinking, I looked at his numbers, and I said, who could lead their team in almost everything? In steals, rebounds, points, the whole – and it kind of reminded me of Magic Johnson, someone who was 6'8", who could do guard stuff, but was still, big enough and athletic enough to get all the rebounds. So, or maybe like a LeBron James would be a good comparison. I heard some comparisons today of him being as possibly as good of a freshman as Carmelo Anthony was. And
I'm not surprised, though.
What's that?
I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised because Carmelo was a freaking beast at Syracuse. I mean, he was nasty. But Cooper Flagg, because of social media now, if you keep up with that kind of thing, like I keep up with the top 150 college or high school basketball players since they're little, they got like the 8th grade, 7th grade classes, man. So being able to pick up on this guy years ago and just follow him and seeing where he ends up, I mean, to people who kept up with that kind of thing when you're looking back in the high school ranks or even the middle school ranks, it's not really a huge surprise. It's a surprise that he's as consistent as he is on this high level. And now as the number 1 team, it looks like, without being the number 1 overall, he's the best player in the entire tournament.
I think I agree with that. But like I said, Walter Clayton Jr. is a dog, man. I like that dude.
Now, do you think it might be one of those years like when Zion came out and then you had Ja Morant, then you had Redick. I mean, what's his name? The man, the dude that came out and went to the Knicks that I didn't want. RJ Barrett. You had a bunch of good players that came out. Redick is the only one who didn't work out well at all, man. This guy's bounced around everywhere. I thought talent-wise he'd end up somewhere, but I heard about his attitude for years. So it may be that's holding him back. Just like I think Mario Chalmers, people claim that his attitude was the reason why he didn't turn out to be the dog he should have been. Because I thought he was going to be a huge dog in the NBA, but he wasn't.
He contributed to a couple championships.
Oh yeah. But I thought he would be one of those lead guys, one of these legacy guys. That's what I thought. The way he played in college, I thought it was a no-brainer that, okay, this is, even though it's hard to pick, this is the guy. Like, no one could have picked Giannis to be as good as he was. That's why he went as late as he went. But what happened, man? Didn't pay that cable bill?
I thought he didn't like my Clean Jr. comment.
That's probably true.
I'm out in the sticks, bro. Whenever the air conditioning comes on, the internet cuts out for a second. So,
whatever, man. You're out in the sticks, but look at those sticks you're in, man. Those are expensive sticks.
We have to rub sticks together to get power down here.
Get the heat going.
Exactly. Exactly. But I heard, obviously there's some interesting Cooper Flagg comparisons, but the way that Janai Broome has been playing, and that guy had some lulls during the year, but I heard some comparisons to Hakeem Olajuwon in '84. Broome is apparently.
I know, right?
I know.
Stop right there.
I know.
Stop right there.
Apparently,
I need you to name that source so I know not to follow them.
I know, right?
It was a 3-letter. It was a 3-letter, not a 4-letter. But he is shooting 75% from the field in the tournament and has double-digit rebounds. That's why the comparison was made with Olajuwon.
Well,
so I'm just saying the guy's tough. Now, as tough as he is, the Gators still beat him during the regular season. So, I think they can beat him again. But, the guy's he's been really hot lately, whereas the Gators have been kind of, they get hot at the right time.
I don't think you gave UConn enough credit for being a proud team trying to go for a 3-peat, even though it looked like they were completely up against it. It was a hard out because they played their asses off because they were defending champs.
Mm-hmm.
So I think there's something to be said about that. They just weren't showing up and just playing a game, knowing they were outmatched. They thought they had a damn chance. They played like defending champs that were overmatched, but they played up to par.
Their coach
I'm not gonna say Duke that they're front runners, but I think you have a much better chance if you don't allow them to get out to 7-8 point lead on you.
Yeah, and that's who the 3-letter. They put Duke's odds the highest. They put Auburn's the lowest. Even saying that about Janai Broome, the Gators. I was going to say,
did he go down the other day and came back, or yesterday and came back into the game, Broome?
Yeah. They got down to Texas Tech. They were only okay with Maryland. They have not been dominating so far in the playoffs. But like I said,
they win, man.
They during the regular season without Elijah Martin. So, I mean, I think with him, and now they've got a lot of depth in the front court. And one of the things that they said in the first game was Florida's front court dominated Auburn's front court. I mean, Broome still got, he got like 18 points and,
he went off yesterday.
Yeah. I mean, the guy's good. But like I said, the Gators beat him before, so there's a chance. But
a chance. I think the Gators beat him. I think the Gators will give them a pretty good beating at that. Now, going back.
What about this guy, Pettiford? Sounds like a New York guy out of New Jersey. He comes off the bench for Auburn. Supposed to be pretty good. He's shooting close to 40% from 3.
Man, look, these limited time guys with these nice stats, especially at 3 points, I don't know about that, man. Reed Shepherd is one of those guys. Look, I mean, but Reed Shepherd was that same dude, man. Limited time, shooting over 52% from 3. I still look at him for his defense, but I mean, I remember when the draft was coming around and how people just couldn't get off of that number. Over 50% from 3. Oh my God, it's amazing. You see the dude play like 12 minutes a game. And you're like, wait a minute, come on, man.
So now Vinny Johnson had limited time, but he was the microwave.
Who?
Vinny Johnson.
Oh, Vinny Johnson. I remember Vinny.
But what
I'm
do you
saying
guys,
his time was limited on the court, but he was the microwave.
what do you guys think of the comparison Steph Curry to Walter Clayton?
Steph Curry to Walter Payton. Walter Clayton, yeah.
I hadn't heard that, and I don't see it either.
I've heard that a few times. I don't see it either. I mean,
Steph Curry from Davidson or the Golden State?
I've just heard Steph Curry. Either way, I'm not seeing it just because the body type is so different. I mean, Clayton is a high school. You know, he got athletic scholarships to play football. He's a big, strong guy.
Mm-hmm.
You would never mistake Steph Curry for a football player.
Oh no, especially in college. That guy was so small in college, and he had those fragile ankles. Man, he used to get those ankle injuries.
Honestly, watching Clayton Jr., I didn't think of anybody else from the past, but him being like just a hard-nosed guy who makes tough shots when you need it. I'm trying to think of someone like that now.
He is clutch. He is clutch. If you saw the game, the last game against Texas Tech, the guy goes in the paint. I'm like, why is he not shooting in the paint? Because I saw him passing up shots all day long as a team. But Clayton goes in the paint with the ball. Then he goes with the ball out to the three-point range, turns around, nails it. And they were like blaming the defensive guys. How are they supposed to know he's going to shoot? All they saw was his back, and then they see him up in the air releasing a three.
How about a healthy Chris Middleton is the guy that can get the shot when you need it?
Yeah. Yeah.
Very rare, but a healthy Chris Middleton.
Clayton has ice water in his veins, though. So in that sense, I guess he's similar to Steph. Or now, who's the other guy that you like so much who played for Indiana? Reggie Miller.
Who did I like so much? Well, you already know. That nonsense.
I know you're a Cheryl Miller fan, so that's why I give you a hard time.
Yeah, going back to what we talked about I think it was a week or two ago. This Gator team, now that it's in the Final Four, or the previous Gator team that did back-to-back, I still take that team, especially in the second season of that Gator team when Joakim was just a freaking beast.
I think you have to. They want back-to-back.
That's why you can't. Yeah. That's why I know I've made the comparison before, and I've said these guys could be better, but that's where the comparison breaks down, right? You're looking at 2 years versus 1 year. If you just look at this as 1 year versus 1 year, I think the comparison's a little more equal. Like taking the first. I'm sorry.
So they have to finish the job.
I'm about to say this Gator team has to win the championship then to be as good as that Gator team. I'm thinking that Gator team certainly played better competition than they're playing now.
You just said UConn was great.
No, I didn't say they were. Wait, this guy, you propagandist. I didn't say they were great. I said they were overmatched. Which part of them being overmatched says they're great? I said they were overmatched, but they, as defending two-time champs, they were going to give you everything
they weren't
they
going
had,
to go
even
down
though
easily, is what he was saying.
I'm just saying that's good competition.
Yeah,
and let's remember, the UF team the first year, almost no one thought they would win, right? That was UCLA's game.
That UCLA game, man. I remember that. I was out there. There was a lot of damn Gator fans outside over that game.
People are thinking this year, like this is Duke's year. No one's thinking Florida can win it.
Well, after that UConn game, I said, I think people are holding it too much against Florida. They're not taking into account who UConn was.
Exactly. That's true.
They weren't the typical 8 or 9 seed. I don't remember what they were, but
9.
Yeah, you can call them a 9 seed, but that's still the 2-time defending champion.
You know, and they had 10 losses and all that, but when they tried to get it together, when the lights were on, they tried as hard as they could. They were just overmatched, and they still kept it close. They could have won that damn game.
Yeah, but so Maryland could have beat Florida, and Texas Tech could have too.
Maryland played a pretty tough damn game. I was surprised.
I know.
I was surprised. I mean, you know, even though I give respect to a lot of those Maryland players, you know, that Northeast area, you just look at the basketball, you know they're tough dudes. It's like going out to the Midwest, knowing those Chicago boys are going to be tough dudes. When you bring in those guys, regardless if they're playing in the Chicago area or you bring them into a school outside of there, you can tell the difference between a Chicago player and just some other player out there. They're just a tougher breed of player.
That's right. And I heard you making the Georgetown comparison since they don't have football. But you wonder, would a school like Maryland, would they kind of sacrifice the football for the basketball?
You know what? But the basketball team has a championship from back in the Juan Dixon days. So I think
And they don't have football.
That's a hard sacrifice in the Big Ten. You get your teeth kicked in.
You better get with
ACC or Big Ten. That's right.
They're back. They're Big Ten. That television market. That's what it came down to. The reason why Rutgers is in the Big Ten, the television market, the New York market.
Yeah, I got you. Yeah, and I mean, you make a good point. The teams, if they put a cap on it, the guys who don't have to invest that much in football can invest that much more in basketball, which would mean Florida,
you already know in New York,
this could be a high watermark for Florida.
And that's true. And in New York area, St. John's being a Catholic school, the archdiocese runs pretty much everything in the Northeast. So there's money coming in. There's so much money to come in, lawsuits and otherwise, but they got money for basketball too.
Yeah.
Got to give it to him. Carter O'Connor, I remember my man before I left. But anyway,
man, I didn't want to get political, but now you're getting religious.
Carter O'Connor, that's my dude, man.
I'm just saying, you mentioned religious and lawsuits.
Yeah, I'm like, what are you talking?
Man, you want to say something? You want to say something, man?
Can't give the athletes money, can they? The church can't donate to the athletic program, can they?
No, the collectives. Remember, I was talking about the
church is going to do what it wants to do.
The fundraisers.
True.
That's what they're going to do.
Fundraisers. Ken Langone, baby. He was one of the founders. He was one of the founders of Home Depot, and he started threatening the Pope. Started doing all these liberal stuff. He's like, I'm going to stop giving you money.
The man, like, all right, man. And how about John Ruiz with Miami? A billionaire that's having a little bit of a problem right now. He got some investigations going on. He talked about spearheading the new Miami Hurricanes football stadium down in the Coral Gables area, which I can't even fathom because that's such a small area. Traffic would be murder. But anyway, he is the reason that's funding a lot of what's going on at Miami. There's a lot of eyeballs on him right now and kind of people staying away from him a little bit. He tried to buy the Sunseeker boat factory, and the only reason why I even know because Kerry's a freaking yacht broker, so he knows all that kind of stuff. But he was he was telling me about that and where his money comes from, how it's looking right now. And I don't know how long should I say how long he's going to stay free, but I don't know how long he's going to be able to fund the games the way he's doing it.
Come on, if he donated money to Trump, he's probably going to stay free for a long time.
John Ruiz is. I just deal with you as long as he's the right John Ruiz, not the one in Massachusetts that won the championship.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. I mean, look at this guy, the mayor of New York. He's committing crimes, but he's
Eric Adams
Trump now. So he's in good shape.
He's been committing crimes, but it's okay now.
Is he in jail? Is he on trial?
No, he's not in jail. He's not on trial. Yeah. He should have been. When everyone was putting him on the back, he went the other way. Now everybody wants to vilify him. But anyway, bro, let's get you trying to snap.
I'm get some
inflection point nonsense.
I'll get it off if you let me make a point. So let's say there's a cap. What does Duke do?
What do you mean? Duke's football team is.
They throw their football team overboard, and they're like,
they always keep their football team is always going to play second fiddle, just like Kentucky basketball is always going to be number one to Kentucky football.
Yeah,
but they'll find a happy medium.
What does North Carolina do?
Football now with Bill Belichick. That's true. But you know what? I think Bill Belichick is one of those
out the door.
But I think Bill Belichick is one of those. He's one of those iconic guys who people might just want to play with, even for a minimal amount of money if they're going to get any NIL money. I think that's possible.
Where's the Trav from 5 minutes ago talking about the kids are different today? They're nothing like us. They can't handle harsh words.
Oh, they can't. I don't know how Bill Belichick is going to deal with these guys. That's why I was surprised when he became the coach. I think they knew. They found out that they thought they were going to get him. That's why they were so harsh with Mac Brown and threw him out of there. He wasn't doing anything anyway.
So this show's gotten a little political, a little religious. I'm just going to say this. I'm tired of hypocrites, man. I'm so sick of hypocrites. I want people to be consistent. Draymond Green's crying about saying old heads don't respect the new game.
I heard about that.
Okay, keep that same energy when John Moran says he's going to cook. He would cook MJ. When Anthony Edwards says he would cook this guy. Keep that same energy. It's not old heads hating on the young guys. It's young guys hating on the old guys too. Come on.
And haven't earned anything. These are dudes that's talking that haven't won any damn thing. John hasn't won anything. Anthony Edwards has been embarrassed and hasn't won anything.
Giannis would score 250 points in the 70s. Come on,
man. Crazy. Giannis came back with a classy remark, though. So, he kind of came back with a classy response. I was like, you know what? If he'd have dropped him in there, he'd have just been doing what he's doing pretty much. Oh,
yeah,
so
it's more of a finesse game than a power game like it used to be.
Yeah, man. Come on, man. Draymond Green, I don't even know if he just says things because he believes what he's saying, or he's just saying it because he's trying to get buzz.
He's the next Stephen A, bro. He just says whatever's going to get the headline. He's clickbait.
He's more like the next Nick Wrong.
Yeah, right. Nick freaking Wrong.
Whatever's going to get the headlines, baby. Because he knows his basketball. He's on the back end of his basketball.
Well, he got that 4-year, $100 million contract.
He's a senior citizen compared to.
He'll probably play 2 years of that contract. He'll hang on to the rest of it. What's that?
He's going to get all the money.
Absolutely.
It's a 4-year, $100 million
but he's got to
contract.
set up that next $100 million deal, which he's only going to get from the networks.
I think he'll be happy getting this $100 million in this 4 years and move on, retire. Yeah. He has rings.
He'll retire after 2 years, and then he'll set up his YouTube channel.
I don't know, man. It might be like Udonis Haslam, just sit on the bench and still get his money.
He might take Big Perk's spot.
Bro, I wish somebody did.
He might try to take Haslam's slot on the NBA channel.
Ooh, he's annoying, Big Perk.
Oh yeah, he can take
Richard Jefferson.
I like Richard Jefferson though.
Richard Jefferson. I'm just saying, funny man. He's funny.
Was he a ref?
What's going to happen next year when TNT goes to ESPN? That's going to be
people will watch like they're doing ESPN now. And Charles Barkley coming back, right?
Yeah.
After giving him a little leg and pulling it back like he really was negotiating. Come on, man. Charles makes the whole damn thing run anyway.
Yeah.
But anyway, I guess that'll be it after about a freaking hour and just bouncing around every damn thing. There was some boxing this past weekend, man. Tevin Farmer fighting Zepeda, I think it was. Holy crap. I saw some clips of it. Hell of a damn fight from what I saw clip-wise. But I can't trust the comments in any boxing group of who really won because these guys are so delusional with their personal favorites and agendas. I can't even listen to it. I got to watch the fight.
Is that UFC? Is that UFC or
that boxing? Just regular boxing.
Oh, I thought you were talking about UFC.
Boxing is not UFC, Scott.
Yeah.
Where did boxing come from? I gotta throw a monkey wrench when boxing
came from you. We'll get a chance. Hopefully, so. You know what? I had somebody tell me today that they believe Canelo is now the new #1 Mexican fighter of all the time. And I'm like, you know what? I have Chavez as my #1, but Canelo's still fighting. Canelo's done a whole damn lot. Yeah, and Chavez my dude, man. So I don't want to take him off that damn. I don't want to take him off because he's my guy.
You can put him ahead of Salvador Sanchez.
I have Chavez in front of Sanchez, only because Sanchez.
Well, you got past Sanchez to get to Chavez.
Yeah, exactly. I have him. If Canelo's going to be #1, Sanchez has to go to #3, and only because Sanchez was 23 years old. And I also added a little bit of perspective when it came to Sanchez because he did fight Azuma Nelson when Azuma Nelson, I believe, was 13-0. Bro. We know the professor as he is right now, the Hall of Famer, as great as he was, but at 13-0, he wasn't that guy back then. And he went 15 freaking rounds with Salvador Sanchez, or was it 14?
Roberto Duran, baby. Roberto Duran
stands on his own merit. He's a top 10 of all time.
Technically, he is Mexican, but nobody considers him Mexican.
Yeah, because of Panama. But yeah, he's both. That dude and Duran on any list that doesn't have Duran in the top 10 is not a list. They're just talking.
Yeah. Well, I mean, Scott shut it down. Duran's the greatest Mexican of all time. You can't dispute that.
Well, you know what? If he's Mexican, he is.
There's nothing. If Duran's in the conversation,
if he's Mexican, he's #1. He's #1.
You consider him Mexican.
You put him in front of Chavez.
I know my boxing in the '80s, baby. Don't talk about Jerry Cooney to me.
Yeah.
You didn't know he was Mexican, though, did you?
He's my Jorge
Paez. Mexican.
Cooney's Mexican.
He put Jorge Paez out there.
All I can remember. The best, lightweight guy I've ever seen was Sugar Ray because he was so goddamn fast.
He was a welterweight.
Roberto Duran, stuck right with him. So
he means lighter weight.
Exactly. But you know what? I gave Roberto Duran even more credit. I don't know why people don't do it more consistently. That he moved up from 135 and beat Leonard and made Leonard fight his fight and still was able to beat the bigger man. And they're talking about at that prime. His freaking prime was 135. This dude came at 147, did that work. It added to his greatness, man. And for Leonard to beat him the second time, it wasn't like Duran was hurt. He wasn't hurt from punches. He was just pissed off, frustrated, and he talks about the cramp, whatever.
That's why he gets dinged because he quit in that fight?
No,
in the rematch?
That's universal. I don't take that as he wasn't hurt, man. I mean, at no time in that fight did Sugar Ray hurt him.
It's just funny. There's like so many theories. He's frustrated.
Well, he said he had cramps.
He was being humiliated. Yeah, he had too much liquids before the fight. I've heard people say he had to take a dump. I've heard so many things. Man.
But you know what?
I thought Leonard was the fastest guy until I saw Tyson. Do you think Tyson is
this dude's all over the place now?
Do you think Tyson was as fast as
I think Tyson looked faster because he was fighting big, slow guys.
Big, slow guys, exactly. Look at freaking Magic Taylor.
He was fast. For heavyweight, he was extremely fast.
Explosive, fast, everything.
But to compare him to welterweight fast and middleweight fast, no.
Bro, look at Magic Taylor, man. If you want to see fast,
Roy Jones is the best guy ever.
Roy Jones is just sick. Roy Jones is on another planet compared to just speed. So, I mean, there were just so many. Hell, guys who didn't even have titles. This kid named Ed Hopkins from years ago. I believe he was a St. Louis guy. Fast as hell. Didn't win a damn thing, but he was fast as hell, man. He was fast. Quick-handed fighters. Buster Matthews Sr., fast hands. Leroy Jones even years ago. Fast hands. They just didn't win a damn thing. So, yeah, it's a nice flash and dash until they get knocked out or lose the fight, and you don't hear about them anymore. But anyway, let's close this out since Scott's leaving. Let's get out of it before he comes back. So he's biased on Trav. Sports Bad Bros podcast. We'll be back on Thursday. And Scott will not be here with us. But until then, deuces.